Yeah, it's kind of. We're gonna be switching to a different. Because I can't get into my mail. At home or in here. On my. There is email here, but I know it's weird. You got 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
What are you
gonna ask when he could be moved up to have people after or before the time I vote. Yeah. He's got to stick with 20 minutes. He's the chair, but I can well, after it's divided, if we ever I'd like him to speak. Last time I did that, you know, it's kind of there are some people.
Good, because I think I have that.
So is it possible you can my tablet? What's a tablet? Possible you can meetings about this time of year. So is it possible you can call me at my extension? Yeah. Sometime this week. Do you have my extension? Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Just write it down. But yeah. I just wanted to get you in on this part, but then other people are waiting for that too. So 674-5952. That's my phone. Yep. Yep. David. Perfect.
You know if you have that portable mic around up front in the scene, and I'm kind of looking for it. I know I'll be doing some talking.
Oh, what's right here?
You need a mic there? I want one. Yeah. No, I'll take it. I'll take it. We don't need one on the table. I want something.
Just for members of the public, that if you would like to sign and make public comment, please make sure you sign it up here. I think most of you did, but just in case you missed it. It's Judge Deere.
What are you doing here? Oh, I'm not here. Nobody else wanted the job. Now, did you have an interest in being the chair? Second. Oh, never mind. There was a conspiracy. I didn't expect to see. There was a conspiracy against you. Oh, really?
Sounds great.
That's okay. I should have called you. Very nice. So that's my thought because
It's called Collins Chambers.
that it gets called a couple months longer. Put in a county water. Those are the
Oh, yeah, yes.
I don't have it here. I don't never have it. Way to figure it out. Literally be there.
Right.
No hearing. Well, 1062.
We're going to start in just a few minutes. We're waiting for the judge to be here in just a minute to swear everyone in. So just a few minutes.
Are you gonna go to the county meeting? That's on your table there. Oh, okay. There's different ones, I guess.
Okay, it's 4:01. I would like to call this meeting to order. We are going to have the administration of the oath read by Judge Daring Jr.
Everyone. The oath is an important ceremonial gesture signifying the official start to one's term in office. Importantly, it is a means for the official to make a public commitment to the duties, responsibilities, and obligations associated with holding public office. The extent to which an official is able to honor that commitment will profoundly impact the efficacy of that official service.
Recording in progress.
Should I do that over? I'd like to congratulate the men and women who have been chosen by the electorate in Jefferson County to serve in this vital capacity. So if you'll all stand to take your oath, please. Raise your right hands and repeat after me. I state your name. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of County Board Supervisor? State your district.
District 20.
To the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations, supervisors, on another term, or your first term.
Next, item number 3 is a roll call by me, so please use your tablets to mark yourselves present. Okay, we have 28 present and 2 absent. Next, if you would all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Ward, would you lead us?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you would all remain silent for a few moments just to reflect on the business that is before us. Thank you. Next, we will have the introduction of the new board members. If we can just go in numerical order and start with you, Supervisor Richardson.
Hello, Cassandra Richardson, Cassie Richardson, District 2.
Bob Bruce, District 3.
Tim Melky, District 4.
Bruce Degner, District 9.
Art Gross, District 10.
Meg Turvelites, District 16.
He's 11. I'm not new. He's been.
This is just new people.
Just no.
Never mind. I was wondering.
Joan Callan, District 27.
Tony Gulig, District 28.
Thank you and welcome. Mr. Administrator, are we in compliance with the open meetings law?
We're in compliance with the open meetings, Madam.
Thank you. And next is the approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Second.
Supervisor Christensen?
I'd like to amend that motion to approve to change, to make a change in the agenda. And that would be a motion to move item 20, Planning and Zoning Committee, to just after public comment.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Supervisor Paulson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Then we go to item number 8, adoption of rules of order. Item A, ordinance, repeal Board of Supervisors Rules of Order 2020 to 2022 and recreate Board of Supervisors Rules of Order 2022 to 2024. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Second? Okay, moved by Supervisor Brockler, second by Supervisor Morris. Discussion? Are there any amendments?
Madam Clerk, I move to amend section 3.05, sub 2, sub A of the 2022-2024 County Board Rules of Order, Broadband Working Group, to provide that membership will include a member of the public. My amendment is indicated by the red language in the draft rules, which have been distributed at tonight's meeting, which should be at your desk.
There is,
I move for passage of this amendment.
Second.
all in favor? Oh, sorry, I jumped ahead. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Supervisor Jones?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I also have another amendment to section 3.05, paragraph 2, sub E of the 2022-2024 County Board Rules of Order Finance Committee to strike language that excludes Finance Committee review of payment vouchers, expenditures, and claims because the Finance Committee does review these items. My amendment is indicated by the red language in the draft rules, which have been distributed at tonight's meeting. Madam Clerk, I'm not used to that. You probably aren't either. Huh?
No.
I move for passage of this amendment.
Is there a second? Second by Supervisor Jekyll. Discussion?
Which language is it particularly? It's under Finance Committee.
You should have about a two-sheet thing at your desk. The front side just has a couple little words in red. The amendment that we already passed is on the second side, and the one I just referred to would be on the front side of the second page.
The red language that has been stricken?
Yes.
I think it was stuck underneath your packet for tonight. The whole.
Moving to strike the language that's on page 10.
Yes.
That.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Supervisor Christensen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Clerk, I move to amend Section 3.06, Paragraph 1 of the 2022 to 2024 County Board Rules of Order, boards, commissions, committees, and other bodies, to provide that when only one member is serving as a representative of Jefferson County, that person shall submit a report to the county board to include the number of meetings attended and a brief discussion of the major work of that body. My amendment is indicated by the red language in the draft rules, which have been distributed at tonight's meeting. I move to make that amendment.
Second.
Second by Supervisor Nass. Discussion? Supervisor Brockler?
Could you provide a little history as to why you want this change?
Thank you, Supervisor Brockler. Yes, I've been the sole representative from the county to 3 lake districts and the Utility Tax Association Board. And I never really get a chance to give any feedback. People don't really know what I'm doing out there. I do go to the meetings. I collect a per diem on it, but who knows what actually happens. So I think in order to be responsive to the board and responsible, I guess, it's an opportunity to at least once in a while let people know what you're doing. Now, as far as utility tax, I have kept Ben Waymeyer and Steve up to speed on some of that work. But that's why I've done this. Thank you.
Supervisor Morris?
And just clarification, report shall be distributed. So that's a printed report? In other words, we don't have another oral report, which I know we all enjoy.
That question is for me. Yes, I was anticipating a really brief, a paragraph or so along with a list of the meetings, and the clerk would put that in our mailbox or with our packet. Thanks.
Any other discussion? Supervisor Martin?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I think it would also be helpful for members of the public to know about this. So if we could make sure that it gets in the permanent record of the minutes, the reports. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Supervisor Jones?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to amend Section 3.02, Paragraph 6 of the 2022-2024 County Board Rules of Order organization to replace the word "see" with the word "here." My amendment is indicated by the red language in the draft rules, which have been distributed at tonight's meeting. It's on the front page there, and we're just switching, taking out the word "see" and putting in the word "here" to clean things up a little bit. I move for passage of this amendment.
Second.
Supervisor Jones, second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Now for a vote on approving the rules as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? They're approved. Okay. Now next is me. Now we're to item number 9, appointment of ballot clerks. I am appointing for tallying up of the votes for our offices for tonight. Ben Waymeyer, Mark DeVries, Amy Listel, Matt Zangle, and Deb Schradel. And now we will move on to the election of the county board chair. Okay. For voting purposes, there are 29 county board members seated tonight. A majority vote is 15 members. Nominations are made by written ballot. I will call on nominees in order of supervisory district to give a brief statement. I guess right now you guys should all have a purple sheet on your desk, and you can go ahead and circle whoever you would like to nominate for county board chair. Oh, 28 actually are present. And then once you're done, if you just kind of want to raise your hands, we can come around and collect them and we'll tally them up.
Beats doing it at the fairgrounds, didn't he?
This is true. No. This thing out here, Smithfield back room. No way, Jose.
Yeah. Smokeville back at the fairgrounds probably means a place on fire.
Supervisor Jones, you have been nominated for county board chair. Do you accept the nomination?
I'm going to respectfully pass. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Brockler, you have been nominated for county board chair. Will you accept?
I will.
Thank you. Supervisor Nass, you have been nominated for county board chair. Do you accept?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so now we will go in order of supervisory district, and you will each get 3 minutes to give a brief statement to the rest of the board. Supervisor Brockler.
Good evening. My name is Jim Brockler. First of all, thank you for those that, or the one that nominated me. I would be honored to help you in the leadership role of this board. Many of you know little bits and pieces about me. For those of you who don't, let me give you a little background. I was fortunate enough to be reared on the family farm in the hills of Western Pennsylvania. So I have this odd combination of a blue-collar background and a white-collar adult life, because most of my career has been in education and the library, with recently a little bit move into the nonprofits. So I've been thankful to have a variety of backgrounds. I know many times my students would look at me and say, "Did you really show cattle? And did you help butcher hogs?" I went, "Yes, I did. There wasn't always a choice, but I did." I'm thankful to have been on this board for more than a decade, and in that time, I've been able to privilege to serve in a variety of responsibilities: Finance Committee, Human Resources, Highway, what's now called Building and Grounds. I was privileged to be on both times where we did the strategic plan and helping work through that process. Most of those I did hold some sort of leadership responsibility, and most recently, I was the second vice chair of the county board for the last term. I was also part of what I would say would be the crowning achievement of this board in my tenure, and that would have been the selection of Ben as our county administrator. And those of you that are new will realize what a gem we have with Ben. So I'm very thankful to have been part of that. I've taught speech, so along that way I learned a little bit more about speaking in public because I had to, but as a teacher you do that every day. Also dealing with parliamentary procedure. I'm just thankful for each one of you to stepping up and serving, and that's a real honor to be alongside of you, and I would be privileged to be your chair. Thank you.
Supervisor Nass?
Thank you for this opportunity to address you all, and welcome to all the new members on here on this board, and welcome back all you veterans. I'm starting my 25th year today on this board. Man, I got elected in the last century, so I guess I'm older than dirt. But it's been a pleasure to serve you as your chair the last 2 years, and just a reminder, this probably in my 25 years that was the most difficult term that we've ever been through. If you recall, we had this meeting at the fairgrounds 2 years ago, and it was awful, just as COVID was breaking out. And we pulled together as a board and as a community and dealt with COVID and changed our rules as needed. We were able to get some big projects done. We have a $40 million remodeling done that are in process. We did redistricting in a very short, compressed time frame. We dealt with some controversial zoning issues. We dealt with obviously COVID and healthcare of the people of Jefferson County, setting up testing stations, vaccination stations, and all this on the fly, and setting up our meetings on Zoom, which we had never done before, changing our board rules to be able to accommodate those things. We have added a new park in Jefferson in conjunction with the city of Jefferson. And we are at the cusp of expanding broadband to underserved areas of Jefferson County. So people have done a yeoman's job under some very difficult circumstances. So I thank you for that work, and I thank you for making my job a little bit easier these last 2 years. Just for a background, I again 25 years today on the board, and it's been this is the biggest turnover I've seen since 2002 when we had 11 turnover. So in my feeling, there'll be some shuffling of committees because we got to have a mixture of veterans and new people in almost every committee to get people up to speed. I think that's going to be important. Also, I feel that we have to continue driving forward and getting this remodeling done. I think this is incredibly important at this point. And I would appreciate your vote. I thank you so much for serving, and continue to work as a board in a nonpartisan manner, and we can continue to get a lot of big things done, even under some bad circumstances. Thank you very much.
Okay, now my tabulators will be passing out the ballot for voting for the chairperson.
I hadn't tried it.
Did that for Extension and Highway Committee. They had to be elected too. It was awful.
Thank you. We have the results in, and congratulations to Supervisor Nass. He will be our chairperson.
Thank you very much for putting your trust in me after these past 2 years. I appreciate it. So we will proceed to election of the vice chairs. So election of the first vice chair by the same procedure just outlined for the chairmanship. So do we have ballots? They're just getting them ready for nominations. So we'll nominate first. Did I vote? We have five individuals nominated. First would be Richard Jones. Do you accept?
Mr. Chair, I respectfully decline. Thank you.
Mr. Paulson?
To respectfully decline.
Mr. Brogler?
Sure.
Mr. Winnicky?
Yes.
Mr. Christensen?
Thank you, but I respectfully decline.
So this will require well, we do a primary there? Oh, yes, that's right. We just have two. Correct. The others decline. Okay. So Mr. Brogler and Mr. Winnicky, would you like to speak again, Mr. Brogler?
I will just say congratulations to Steve on his selection as chairman, and Nothing more to add. You found out about me.
Thank you, Jim. Mr. Winnicky?
Hello, my name's Mike Winnicky. I've represented the southwest corner of the city of Watertown now for 8 years. I'd like to talk a little bit about my background as it pertains to the county board and what we do here. I currently serve on the executive committee. I serve on the human services board. I serve on human resources, and I serve on the ADRC advisory committee. Prior to the last 2 years, I've served on the Home Consortium Board, on law enforcement and emergency management, and on the Highway Committee. So I think a pretty well-rounded background there. Before coming to the board and before moving to Jefferson County, I worked for Dane County in the Department of Human Services for 36 years. I think that helps with committees like Human Services with just kind of a basic understanding of their problems, their assets, their needs. I also was on the city council in my hometown for 6 years, and I served on the Police and Fire Commission there for 6 years. I have a degree in criminal justice, and I think that helps me also with the law enforcement, with the sheriff's department. So that's sort of my basic background, but I also think it's important you have some idea of what I believe in, what I think is important. And to me, the main thing is that when I came to the county board, I came with absolutely no agenda. I just felt the only thing we need is to provide the best we can for the people we serve. And now after 8 years, it's exactly what I feel. I support the reconstruction of the jail and the courthouse. I think it's important. I understand that inflation has just driven the cost up, but I think it's something we can do and should do, and now's the time. We can afford to do it. We're in a good place as far as finances go right now. I also think because of where Jefferson County is located, midway between Milwaukee County and Dane County and Waukesha, it's inevitable, what with the I-94 corridor, that we're going to have a lot of growth. I think that's inevitable. What's important is that it's good growth, that it's planned growth, and that it's growth that meets our needs now and in the future. To that end, I think that the planning and zoning, the county master plan are absolutely important, and we need to adhere to those plans as much as possible. I also think that some of the things we've done recently will help with bringing in quality employers. Things like the broadband initiatives to bring broadband services to rural areas is important. In fact, I think it's vital. I think the interurban recreational trail is the kind of thing that's going to benefit us. So I am happy to serve on the board currently, and if elected, I would like to serve as first vice chair and would appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Matt or somebody, may I vote? Is this used? So I can get rid of it. I can't see. You're seeing this phone. 5 years here. Use this as a courtroom. This is for family court. That's why this is Kevlar. This is family court. Yep. Congratulations, Mr. Winnicky, second vice chair. Now we'll have nominations for, actually, first vice chair. Now we'll have nominations for second vice chair, using the same procedure. Thank you. Mark. Nominations are Richard Jones.
I would like to thank the board for these nominations, but I really do love what my present assignments are, and I'd like to keep working for the county in those present positions. So I respectfully decline. Thank you.
Mr. Paulson.
I'll accept.
Mr. Brogler.
I'll accept.
Mr. Jacob.
I will respectfully decline.
Mr. Smith.
I will decline. Thank
Mr. Christensen.
I will accept.
So we have 3 at this point. If I recall the procedure, we will have an election. If somebody gets the majority, it's over. Otherwise, we do not have a majority, then we will eliminate one person and vote again. Correct? Okay. Let's have it. Oh, yes, they get their 3 minutes, 6 times. So thank you. 3 minutes. Mr. Let's see, we'll go in order here. So it'll be Mr. Brogler first.
I'll just say that it would be my privilege to round out the leadership team. For the sake of time, I won't tell you anything more.
Okay. Then it would be Mr. Paulson.
First off, I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your consideration. Secondly, I want to tell you that public speaking's not my favorite thing, unlike my compatriot, Mr. Brogler. I'm a third-generation farmer, but I didn't get there the easy way. I didn't move back to the farm until I was 46 years old. I went to town and I worked in the insurance and financial services for 25 years and came home so my father could retire. I've been on the board for 16 years. When I first came home to the farm, that's when I ran the first time for county board, because I thought it was important to serve the people. My grandfather always told me that public service was the rent you pay for the space you occupy in this county. And so I ran. And a lot of things have changed in the 16 years that I've been here. I have served under four county chairs, 2 administrators, and 2 corporation councils. We sold an elder care facility, constructed a highway shop, which I was involved in. I've turned the nomination down 8 times for leadership, and I decided tonight I would throw my hat into the ring. So thank you for your consideration. I appreciate it.
And then Mr. Christensen.
Thank you for this nomination. I'm an excellent public speaker in groups of less than 3. And I'm the supervisor from District 30, which is 3 wards in Koshkanan, and all of Sumner basically wraps around the Lake Koshkanan. I've been on the board since first being elected in 2008, otherwise known as the flood year. And that's 12 years I've been on the board. And if you're doing the arithmetic, I had a 2-year vacation in there. I have served on numerous committees, as anybody who's been on for a while has. I've been chair of 2, Land and Water Conservation Committee and Highway, and vice chair of several others. I've enjoyed every opportunity to work with the county. It's a rewarding experience. I've always tried to be innovative and hardworking and make positive contribution, and I'm generally not shy about speaking up if I think an issue is important. I do have to have a few notes from time to time. I've got a good memory, but it's short. And so I've been on the board for 12 years, and prior to that, I worked as an auto mechanic for most of my career, mostly in Ford dealerships. And in that job, there's a lot of problem solving. Every day, you don't know what you're going to get. Actually, from hour to hour, you don't know what your next assignment's going to be. So you've got to be ready to think on your feet and learn quickly and be responsible to the owners of expensive vehicles. During that time, I was also an inventor. I've got an issued patent. I've written several patent applications, but I've got one issued. I've got one tool that's in the tool catalog. It's a minor thing, but I'm still kind of proud of that. I also served on the Koshkanan Town Board for 9 years, from 97 to 2001. And the last 5 years on the Koshkanan Town Board. So that's given me some experience with local issues, and I appreciate the town level government, which is very boots on the ground. You're right there with the people, as compared to what we have here. I do live by a couple of standards, and I've mentioned these to people over the years. One is one that my dad told me about. You will be judged by what you did with what you were given. The other thing I learned as I graduated from the University of Wisconsin, and where I got a BA in art, was beware of unexamined assumptions. I believe that is pretty thoughtful and good advice, and I try to live by that too. So I wish good luck to the other nominees, and I would appreciate your vote, but I'll be supportive of whoever gets this position. Thank you.
Every single time.
Don't forget Steve.
Yes, I did. All right. Somebody, I marked it. So we will have a runoff here between Mr. Paulson and Mr. Christensen.
Mr. Chair, I don't have to speak again, do I?
No.
Thank you.
No. And Mr. Christensen doesn't either.
I stand by everything I said.
But you can speak anytime you raise your hand anyway. Congratulations, Mr. Paulson. As
Thank you.
I'll remind Mr. Paulson and Mr. Winnicky to keep the last Wednesday morning open for executive committee meetings. So we'll proceed here to communications. No. That was it.
Okay, for communications today, item A, you will have the treasurer's monthly report. Item B, zoning committee, note the public hearing, which will be this Thursday, April 21st, 2022 at 7 p.m. And then item C is recognition of sheriff's proclamation proclaiming the week of April 10th through April 16th, 2022 as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. That's all.
Thank you very much, Audrey. Takes us to public comment. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 11 folks signed up for public comment, and all would like to speak. So we'll begin with Dale Conley. We have 3 minutes each.
Hello, my name is Dale Connolly. I live at N6240 Stonewood Drive, Watertown, Wisconsin. I am the Concord Town Chair. This is in regards to Brunson's opposed proposal for building 10 large storage sheds on Highway B in Concord near I-94 interchange. I'd like to talk a little about town board and the comprehensive plans in relation to proposals and rezoning. The desired role of the town board. The structure of the town board is well suited for administering services. They get roads plowed, potholes fixed, parks mowed, etc. If they're not doing a good job in 2 years, you can just elect a new board. Things will improve. But land use changes are forever. In 2 years, you can't not elect a new board, remove the Walmart. That's why we have long-term comprehensive plans to provide more stability over time, rather than having town zoning approaches change with each election. The value of a comprehensive plan. Comprehensive plans take a while to make. They provide a very thoughtful long-range view of what residents would like their community to look like and be like. State comprehensive plan laws require communities to be involved in the planning process. Plans must be updated every 10 years, but changes can be made before then. The process on how to make changes is written into the plan. For towns in Jefferson County, land use zoning is administered by the county. The county has its own plan, which it should follow. I believe the county plan refers to town plans, which means that county zoning decisions should follow town plans. The final word on that, I understand, is to be worked out by attorneys and the courts. Jefferson County has been consistent in administering zoning in Concord up until this proposal for 10 large storage buildings by Donald and Nancy Brunson on Highway B near I-94 Exchange. 2 members of the town board did approve this proposal, but they do not represent the town plan or the wishes of the citizens. At the county zoning committee hearing, 40 people wrote or spoke at the hearing to oppose the storage buildings. 1 person spoke in favor, the realtor. In addition, we are in the process of updating our town plan. At those meetings, many more people have indicated that they oppose this barn proposal. I ask you to send this proposal rezoning back to the zoning committee, table it, or just vote it down. There are several legal questions that it would be easier to clarify before voting to approve this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Dale. Kimberly Miller.
Thank you for this chance to speak. I'm here to speak about the Brunson proposal for rezoning for boat storage. I want to emphasize the abrupt change in county policy. On February 28, this proposal came before the zoning committee. They stated that they follow town plans and voted to postpone action, effectively sending this back to the town for us to work out the discrepancy between this proposal and our town plan. That seemed reasonable to us. But But then the proposal was put back on the next zoning committee agenda, now for the March 28th meeting. At that meeting, county staff claimed that the county would no longer follow town plans, but instead just the town board's vote. The committee nonetheless spent a lot of time discussing our plan and trying to justify this decision based on our plan, including one place where something was misread from how we have read it. So it seemed puzzling to us that they spent a lot of time talking about our plan. It was also very puzzling to us that they, sometime in March, that they changed from saying that they followed town plans to saying that they would not follow town plans. So when you vote on this proposal, you are not just voting on this proposal, but on a substantial and abrupt change in county policy. This sets a precedent for every town in Jefferson County and can even have statewide implications for the legal status of town plans. There's some unresolved questions about town plans, and we believe everyone should fully understand the reasons behind the policy change and the potential impacts of before voting on this specific proposal. Why are the county staff creating this change in policy? What are the implications of this change in policy? The county is required to follow its own comprehensive plan, which mentions town plans in several places. Can the county simply change its interpretation of its comprehensive plan for this? Also wanted to let you know, the town of Concord does not currently have a town attorney. Citizens believed the town would hire an attorney at the April 12th board meeting to get legal advice on this. But the board did not hire an attorney, in part because one member became very upset at spending any money on an attorney. So now a group of citizens are working to hire an attorney, but neither of the attorneys we contacted were available before tonight's meeting, given the tight timeline from our board meeting, which was, I guess just a week ago. And finally, please note that those of us speaking today represent a wider body of concerned citizens. We know people who would have liked to attend and asked us to kind of convey their concerns. Some of them, it's because of the 4 p.m. time frame. This meeting being earlier, it makes it harder for people with jobs to be here. We also had some people who have ill health but don't have computer access for Zoom, including one person who's getting over COVID, and so was not able to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lee. Next would be Sally Williams.
I'm also asking you to deny the petition by the Brunsons to rezone 7.4 acres to A2. The proposal is inconsistent with town and county comprehensive land use plans. The town plan states on page 56, quote, "The town will limit the establishment of new businesses to areas within the town of Concord rural hamlet, and the town will not support expansion of the current rural hamlet." The proposal in question creates a significant new commercial development outside the hamlet and thus is inconsistent with the plan. The Jefferson County Agricultural Preservation Plan states on page 31, quote, "Whenever land is proposed for rezoning from a certified farmland preservation zoning district such as A1 to a non-certified zoning district like A2, require that the following criteria is met. B, the zoning is consistent with the applicable town and county comprehensive plan." So the county plan does direct the county to follow town plans. However, we have been told that county zoning approvals would now be based on town board decisions rather than town plans. If this reflects an assumption by the county that an approval by the town board indicates consistency with the town plan, that assumption is not valid. This petition passed our town board by a 2-to-1 vote. One of the supervisors who voted for the proposal indicated ahead of the vote that he should recuse himself due to his personal relationship with the petitioners. He spoke at length as to why the petition should be denied because it was inconsistent with the Concord plan, and then he voted to approve. He later justified his decision by saying he felt he had to take the financial status of the petitioner into consideration. So if the county is no longer going to recognize town plans but defer to the decisions of changing town boards, this leaves future development to be guided by the subjective criteria of favoritism in personal relationships rather than the objective criteria thoughtfully set forth in long-range planning. Regarding A2 zoning, at the county zoning meeting, the fact that the town had approved some petitions to rezone to A2 in the past was used as an argument that the town supports A2 zoning requests in general. Basically, if one A2 zone was consistent with our plan, then all were. but there are 61 conditional uses in A2 zoning. Some are consistent with our plan and some are not. We have approved 6 A2 zoning requests since the passage of our plan. 2 for small increases in size for commercial enterprises which pre-existed our plan. 2 for the storage of contractors' equipment by homeowners for businesses operated off-site, and 2 for agricultural use. The town has consistently denied requests for new commercial enterprises outside the hamlet and A2 zoning. Denials include a wedding barn, landscape business, kennel, disc golf course, and a wrestling camp. Questions have also arisen about whether or not our plan is valid since it expired in 2019. At that time, the town chose to delay updating the plan until after the census and after the new county plan was complete. We're currently in the process of updating. I would point out that prior to the decision on the Brunson proposal, the town has continued to operate as though the plan were in force. 2 of the A2 zoning requests, which were denied by the town because they set up new commercial enterprises outside the hamlet, were decided in the last 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Ronald Brandt.
Ronnie Brandt. I got some land adjoining the Brunson property where both units are supposed to go. It would be on my south side of my property, and I'm concerned about that. The units, they're going to be up in the air it just wouldn't look right. I oppose it. And I'm concerned about the watershed on there, where it's going to go. It's going to go, right now it's going on my land, but with all the units, it's going to be a lot more problem. So I do oppose it.
Thank you. This takes us to, I believe it's Mike's the first. I cannot read the last name, but it looks like it starts with a B. Okay, thank you.
I'm a neighbor of Ronnie's, and I'm much concerned about the water runoff too. We talk about having 10 buildings put on a 7-acre plot. They've already put 5 buildings on I don't know how big that piece of property is, but by the time you consider what's under shed, the percentage of land for it to soak in, to the cover, you're talking almost a third of a quarter of the property is going to be just building. That doesn't include if they put asphalt in for a driveway, gravel in there, runoff. We have not seen how big these buildings are going to be on this property. We have not seen any, any type of engineering where there's going to be a retention pond put somewhere. Nothing. I think there needs to be more thought put in to what they want to do on that property before it goes forward, if it even goes forward, because that piece of property is not in the hamlet. And as Sally talked about, we must keep things in the hamlet if we're gonna. Our hamlet isn't even barely touched with commercial property. So why would we want to go outside the hamlet? That's just going to set up everyone that's on the edge of the hamlet being able to push out if this goes through. Thank you.
Thank you. Pete Gross.
I am Pete Gross, N5921 Jefferson Road, Johnson Creek, Wisconsin. I'm the real estate guy in this county, and I talked to a lot of people that come into this county, and I've been dealing with the zoning office in this county for over 18 years. In fact, I was a plan commission member for the town of Ascalon for 9, was involved in the smart growth plan committee for the county, and I was also the one that helped develop our comp plan in the town of Ascalon. And the bottom line is, comp plans are a plan, they're a guide, they are not law. An ordinance is what is law, and they adopted the Jefferson County ordinance. It's interesting how people can twist the truth, and that's been going on this whole process. We've been through due process. They've been delayed an extra month by going out and getting a posse behind them with non-factual information. I'm going to tell you right now, there is an engineered plan for the runoff. The zoning committee has analyzed that. They postponed it a month to come in here. Everybody's been really good. This county's been awesome to work with the zoning committee. They are very well trained. They know how to follow their ordinance. The attorney was there guiding them, and they did approve it. And I would hope in this case the county board would also approve it. Thank you.
Takes us to, is it Daly or David Heckel? Dick, okay, I'm just having difficulty reading the handwriting.
I'm Dick Heckel. I'm part of the boathouse, and we did put up the previous buildings prior to it. All those buildings were followed by an engineered plan thoroughly and executed by the planning board as well. So that's all I want to say. And the new buildings being placed will be also engineered with engineered plans and approved by the planning as well.
Thank you. I'll try on, is it Don and Nancy Brunson?
My name is Don Brunson, W1432 County Road B. My wife and I have lived on that property for 36 years. Our children have raised on the property and they reside in Jefferson County. We are both retired, although my wife, she never retires because she's a housewife. But anyway, we've been there, and when I was approached by the boathouse to expand and talk to me, I thought it was a pretty good idea, to be honest with you, because it makes good sense for them to, if they want to enlarge their business. Half of that property, 3.5 acres, has never had a plow on it in 60 years. It's just land that just sits there. Never been agriculture at all. So I just wanted it has passed the town board of Concord. I would hope we would pass Jefferson's board. We've had positive plus negative. We had a meeting in Concord with the town board. That meeting was a full gymnasium and had probably an hour of discussion over this, and it was passed by Concord as well as the zoning committee in Jefferson County. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Then we have Becky Schuster. Good handwriting.
Not in Jefferson County, Schuster. My name is Rebecca Schuster. I live at North 5236 Golden Lake Park Road. I've been a resident of the town of Concord since 1973, and my grandparents developed one of the R2 subdivisions over Reuter's Circle. I don't know if any of you know where that is. It's on the very east side. Point to that being is I understand that there's always the controversy of development and so on and so forth. But the thing about this property is I drive from one part of the town of Concord to the other side of the town of Concord every single day. Drive through this intersection in the morning and in the afternoon, and I look at 5 red buildings that look just like the Mindeman farm with their red barns and all the barns on Highway E. I think they blend in nicely. They have landscaping in the front. I understand that there might be some trees that need to be replaced, but that can be taken care of. It's one of the cleanest sites that I drive by when I drive to work every day. I think it's very well maintained. It's lit well, and you wouldn't even know there was a business there because there isn't any signage either. I am a taxpayer in the town of Concord, and I would think that the tax base of this particular development might help us a little bit. I watched our roads be plowed this winter poorly, and I'm assuming that our budget is probably a little light. So I'm thinking a little extra tax dollars would not hurt. I don't think it will negatively impact our rural feel in any way, shape, or form, because I think the county zoning ordinance is well written to make sure that we keep that rural feel throughout our county and through our towns. I think the town has a guide for you to all follow, but it is being rewritten, and that was poorly notified, I think, for town members, as I got a tiny little yellow postcard saying that we were getting a new town plan, or they're starting to plan one. So I understand that there's pieces to all the puzzle, but just being a town-paying tax citizen, I just wanted to express my opinion that I think it's a good proposal being right adjacent to an existing business that's already in the town of Concord. Thank you.
Thank you. Andy Igana.
Thank you for the time, for giving us this opportunity to speak. I'm with the Boathouse. My name is Andy Angara, in favor of the Brunson proposal. As it's been mentioned with a few people prior to me, this has been a long process, about 5 months or so. We started well before that with conversations with the Brunsons, and they have been unbelievable neighbors. I believe most of, if not all of the neighbors in that area would agree with that statement as well. We do not operate in this business year round. This is a very seasonal business. We are in and out. It is very, very, very seasonal to the point where even during the day, we don't have people going in and out. So it is not your normal business in terms of people flow, traffic flow, and all of that. Beyond that, this property is approved from an engineer standpoint. We wouldn't go this far without that. So we definitely have the backing from an engineer saying that the runoff is proper and it will be aligned accordingly. Beyond that, the buildings are offset from the road. So as much as the initial 5 buildings do blend in, this will be even further set back and further away from any traffic flow that would be going through County Road B. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And lastly, Rick Donner.
Good afternoon. My name is Rick Donner. I'm the attorney for the Boathouse of Lake Country. Thank you. The applicant to rezone a 7-acre portion of W1432 County Road B in the town of Concord, otherwise known as the Brunson proposal. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. As Andy mentioned, it's taken us 5 months to get to today's hearing. The Boathouse rezone petition was submitted before Thanksgiving last year. The concerns the opponents have raised today were previously raised at the Town of Concord Plan Commission hearing on December 22nd, at the Town of Concord Board hearing on January 10th, at which time the board voted to approve the rezone, at the public hearing before the Jefferson County Zoning Committee on February 17th, at the Jefferson County Zoning Committee hearing on the February 28th, at which time the committee tabled the matter for 1 month to allow the opponent's concerns to be investigated, and at the Zoning Committee hearing on March 28th, at which time the Zoning Committee voted unanimously to recommend approval of the Boathouse rezone application. No new information has been presented today by the opponents. These concerns have been thoroughly vetted over 5 months by the Town of Concord and Jefferson County zoning approval process. Today, the opponents are asking the board to ignore the judgment of the elected Town of Concord board and the Jefferson County Zoning Committee, who voted unanimously to recommend approval. They seek to insert their own judgment over the judgment of the elected representatives from the town and the Jefferson County Zoning Commission. The Boathouse is asking this board to accept the recommendation of the elected Town of Concord Board and the Jefferson County Zoning Committee and approve the proposed rezone. Representatives from the Boathouse are obviously here today and happy to answer any questions. The Boathouse is proud of the proposed project and looks forward to furthering its investment in the town of Concord and the Jefferson County community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. That ends our portion of the meeting of public comment, which takes us to committee reports, resolutions, and ordinances. We have changed the agenda, so we will be taking item 20 first, which is a Planning and Zoning Committee approval of petitions. Mr. Jacob.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, report to the honorable members of the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors. Jefferson County Planning and Zoning Committee, having considered petitions to amend the official zoning map of Jefferson County, filed for public hearing on February 17th and March 17th, 2022, as required pursuant to Wisconsin statutes. Notice thereof having been given and being duly advised of the wishes of the town boards and persons in the areas affected, hereby makes the following recommendations. Approval of petitions as listed, dated this 28th day of March 2022, Blaine Paulson, Secretary. On to the ordinance number 2022-2, amending the official zoning map, whereas Jefferson Board of Supervisors has heretofore been petitioned to amend the official zoning map of Jefferson County, and whereas petition number, is that the first one? I'm trying to see. As petitions as listed and proposed amendments have been given due consideration by the Board of Supervisors in open session. Now therefore be ordained that Jefferson County Board of Supervisors does amend the official zoning map of Jefferson County as listed.
Do I have a second?
Do I have?
Second by Mr. Christensen. Yeah. Discussion.
Mr. Chair, may I ask to divide the question to vote on all the other ones first and do the Brunson one second?
So
I'll make that motion.
The one on your sheet, that would be from A1 exclusive agriculture, A2 agriculture and rural business. That would be the very first petition there that we're dividing.
Correct. That's my motion to divide the question.
Second from Mr. Paulson. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of divide? Supervisor Martin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. From what I understand, a number of legal questions have come.
First of all, this is just a question on whether we're dividing the question.
I'm sorry.
No.
Okay.
Anyone, any discussion on whether or not to divide this question? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none? Okay, now the question is divided, and what Supervisor Jekyll suggested, we will set that one aside, and we will vote on the remaining 1, 2, 7 petitions. Any discussion on the last 7 petitions, the remaining 7 petitions? Mr. Nard.
I will abstain for potential conflict of interest.
Thank you. Any discussion? Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, those are passed. Now we will entertain discussion on the petition of A1 exclusive agricultural, A2 to agricultural rural business to create a 7.4 acre A2 zone near W1432 County Road B. Discussion. Mr. Christensen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was notified of this here petition and a few problems that it presents. So what I would like to say is I think there's a real need to clarify for more examination and improvement of the decision-making process when there's a conflict between town board and that town's land use plan. I would say a major benefit of county zoning has been, especially for me as a longtime county or town board supervisor, is that it has some distance from the local considerations. When you're on a town board, you often are presented with a need to rule in favor or opposed to something that will affect your neighbors, your friends, your coworkers, and so on. That's a difficult situation to be in. It's always more comfortable if you make that decision, but then you have it, you have that decision either ratified or the tough decision anyway made by the county. My concern here is the devaluing of town land use plans. I think that we should probably favor supporting land use plans because they have a standing from long-term, they've been passed by the town, they've been ratified by the people, and they've been employed over years, whereas towns can come and go, and it is unfortunate to have things change more or less on a whim. So what I would like to have happen for my interest is in the coming year or so that the new zoning committee, whenever it's formed, spend some time considering how to improve and clarify this process of deciding between either the town land or town land use plan or comprehensive plan or the town board, who would take precedence, so that you can avoid this difficulty that we're seeing here tonight. Thank you.
Other discussion? Supervisor Martin.
Okay, thank you. I agree with the comments from Supervisor Christensen regarding the need to look at this more closely. However, we do have a decision on the table here. From what I understand, a number of legal questions have come up regarding this situation. I was able to attend the decision meeting on March 28th, and things just weren't quite as clear as I think some folks wanted. The state statutes do govern county comprehensive plans and also town comprehensive plans. It would seem better to postpone a decision tonight on this until our May meeting so there can be more legal clarity. This way, we are not voting on something which potentially could cost Jefferson County a lot in legal fees, and also we wouldn't be unintentionally setting a precedent that we may not actually want. So I move to postpone this decision until the May meeting. Thank you.
There's a motion on the floor to postpone this till the May meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Who was the second? Yeah. Second with Mr. Johns. Discussion on the postponement. Hearing none. All in favor of postponement, say aye.
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 Opposed? No. So we'll take a roll call vote.
I have to add it, so just give me 1 second. Okay, you can go ahead and vote.
Mr. Chair, would you just clarify the responses, yes and no?
Oh, the yeses would be to postpone, no would be to not postpone.
I have several who are not, it doesn't show as voting. Do you have connection issues?
Yes.
Supervisor Richardson? Supervisor Price?
didn't register.
Looks right.
Supervisor Milky,
It's not registering, so you can verbally tell us.
Supervisor Degner,
That was a yes, I believe you said.
Supervisor Gross, Supervisor Smith, Supervisor Martin,
Yes.
Supervisor Turville Heights,
Yes.
Supervisor Callan, Supervisor Gulag, we have 10 yes, 18 no, and 2 absent.
That motion fails, so it is back to the floor to the original motion to approve or disapprove of these, this particular petition. Any further discussion on the petition? Mr. Winnicky?
Yeah, I'm wondering if like Matt Zangle could take a few minutes to summarize exactly what the issues are here. I've heard people that have indicated that the county was not following their own rules, that kind of thing. And so if that could all be clarified as what the quick process was, and I'm interested in why the board voted unanimously to approve this, and whether or not it's consistent with the county's plans.
Is Matt here? Oh, he's hiding back. Okay. Matt?
Sir, Supervisor Winnicky, good question. So I'll start by saying, trying to think of where to start. It would be my opinion if this proposal was offered anywhere else in the county that it would be approved. The Planning and Zoning Committee approved it at the last meeting on a 5-0, 4-0 vote, and I think that shows that they would approve this in any area. I agree with the committee's determination that it meets the county's comprehensive plan and the county's zoning ordinances. The confusion or the struggle comes into play that the Town Planning Commission voted to deny the petition. The town board, the one who makes the formal decision on behalf of the board, voted to approve it. So you're seeing here today the conflict or the struggle between the question of, did the town follow their comprehensive plan? Am I the one to offer that suggestion? I don't know. I didn't create the plan. I don't read the plan on a daily basis. I don't know. I can't speak on behalf of that. You've heard comments today that the town did not follow that comprehensive plan. However, the town board did approve the petition. The formal decision and recommendation to the Planning and Zoning Committee, of which they review, was to approve the petition. Does that answer it in a short statement?
Thank you.
I think Buck had his hand up first. Mr. Supervisor Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My concern with this, I was contacted by several people, and as this went to the town, they were unaware that it was there, so they were not able to oppose it. And at the point it had passed, now they're arguing that that's the reason why we should support it. That I personally think this is like the property in Palmyra where it should get sent back to the town and they should figure this out. And if they send it back, pass it or not. But I think the town this should go back to the town and let them decide more if they're in favor of it or not, so people have more of an option to agree or disagree with it.
Supervisor Morris.
Without trying to put our corp counsel in a difficult position, I wondered if we could get an opinion from the Corporation Council.
Rezoning, it's presented, the petition is presented to the county board. State statutes contemplate that it's a a joint endeavor. A rezoning doesn't happen unless the town and the county want it to happen. That's why state statutes give each government the authority to rezone. Specifically with a rezoning request, the county has the ability to approve a rezoning petition, which is what's on the floor right now before the county board, and the town has the authority to veto it. So 40 days after it's passed, if the county does approve the rezoning, the town can veto it. So do we want to get into town politics? As a matter of doing business, the county asks the town before acting on a zoning petition, does the town support the rezoning petition? In this case, the town said, yes, it does support the rezoning petition. And the Planning and Zoning Committee voted to rezone or grant the rezoning petition. Now we have the county board being asked to make that decision. We have a number of people who are opposing the rezoning, but legally, we have a petition before the board, and there's nothing preventing, or if we do choose to deny the rezoning petition, I know that's not on the floor right now. There was a request to return it or to postpone it, but what basis does the county have to deny it? There have been some statements made that it's inconsistent with the town comprehensive plan. The town comprehensive plan is 3 years out of date. It's expired. So what relevance do you want to give that? Focus on the county's comprehensive plan, the county's zoning ordinance, the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Committee, and my opinion is that this is a petition to rezone that should be granted. There's nothing inappropriate about granting this petition. I see no issues. Issues have been raised by the public, but these aren't issues that concern me where I would advise the county board to postpone the rezoning petition or deny it. But of course, the county board has its option. I've addressed this with other supervisors. The county board can take action as it would with any other matter before it. It can approve the rezoning, it can deny it, it can refer it back to committee, or postpone it, or amend the zoning petition. I don't know what amendments would be made, but those are the options that state law gives the county board in a situation like this.
Further discussion? Mr. Backlund.
I think Corp Counsel answered it, but he was asked, Mr. Smith was asking about, can we send it back? But the reality is they have the veto power, so even if we approved it, sending it back would only take time, but they still, if we approve it, they can still veto it and stop the project.
If the town chose to, the town could, yes.
Mr. Kennard.
I will abstain for potential conflict of interest.
Thank you. Mr. Jacob.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. A few of the things, Corporation Counsel stated it very well, the way things are laid out, at least from what I understand of the law, and after sitting through several hours with him at the Fair Park in the middle of winter for a We Energies thing, I know there was lots of questions going on that way. I think if everybody actually has met, us on the zoning committee, I would think you would realize we actually do thoughtfully think this stuff through. We do ask corporation councils lots of times for guidance to it. A few of the points I will bring up, like was said, town plan was out of date 3 years. Most places can get business done within 3 years if they want to update it, amend it, or continue it. They could have done stuff like that pretty easily. Second thing would be, everyone around here either lives in a town or a city, and I think you vote for new town board members, city board councils, and stuff like that every couple of years regardless. So, when a board overrides a committee, because technically I think that's what a planning commission is a committee. They are not elected to that, at least not on any of the town boards that I know of. They're all appointed. It would be like us just going off from one of our appointed administration people and leaving them have the full range of everything we do. That's why we do it here, so we can oversee it. But I think, when the town had approved it And we said we would prove it and even thought back to, postponed it another time to just see if the town came back within a month and said they had some major change. I don't see a reason for us not to go forward with approving this. Thank you.
I saw another hand up here earlier. Any other? Mr. Johns hasn't spoken yet.
Thank
and
you,
then we'll
Mr.
go
Chair.
back to Supervisor Martin.
This project is in my district over in outside of Farmington. So I've been weighing this back and forth for the last couple of days. It's become quite an issue in my district there, and it's certainly in that side of it. But I think corporate counsel helped us out here a little bit with the possibility of the town board vetoing this if in fact they chose to do that. If the town board and the town planning group, it gives them 40 days. It's an off ramp. It's an opportunity for an off ramp for them if in fact that's what their constituents or that town board wants to do. I'm not advocating for that, but I'm just saying there is an off ramp in fact if it's taken up by the town. So I just want to thank you, corporate counsel, for pointing that out. It is a factor. Thank you.
Supervisor Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just one question for clarification from corporate counsel. Is it my understanding that we do not really have clarity on as to whether town plan, which is technically outdated, still is legally binding? Thank you.
That's a good question. I found through my research, I found no guidance on whether or not what the effect of an outdated town plan would be, but it is my opinion that it would not be appropriate to say just because the town plan is outdated, therefore there can never be any rezoning petitions granted in that town. So assuming it has an effect, what is that effect? And in my opinion, that effect isn't a basis to deny the rezoning request.
Mr. Paulson.
I would make a motion to call the vote.
He's just calling for the question.
He's calling for the question. Is there a second to that? This can only be approved by a majority vote because basically what you're doing is ending discussion. And so the motion's on the floor. It's a 2/3 vote. Yes, it's a 2/3 vote. So motion on the floor to call a question. This is not for the question, just whether or not to call it and end debate. So we'll take a roll call vote.
I have to add this.
This is the final.
Yep.
Correct.
You want to clarify that? There's a lot of chatter.
Okay.
What the motion is to end debate.
Okay, the motion on the floor right now is to end debate. It is not for or against this petition. It is to end debate. That's all it is.
If you vote yes, then you want to end debate.
If you vote yes, you want to end the debate. No, you want to allow people to have the say. Any further? Mr. Kennard.
I would like to ask Blair, do I need to abstain from this or should I vote?
My advice is since you abstained from the main motion that you abstain from any secondary or subsidiary motion. So yes. Call the previous question. Motion to call the previous question.
It's known you're ready, Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk, ready? Okay, we can vote.
Supervisor Richardson, Supervisor Price, Supervisor Milky, Supervisor Digner, Supervisor Gross, Supervisor Smith, Supervisor Martin, Supervisor Turville Heights,
Yes.
Supervisor Callan, Supervisor Goulig. "21 yes, 6 no, 1 abstain, 2 absent."
So now the original motion is on the floor for approval or disapproval of this petition. Any further discussion? Mr. Smith?
I just had a question. Is this going to be sent back to the same board that sent it here that has already approved it? Is that the same
Yes.
board?
Same board, hasn't
Okay,
changed.
that's-
Yep. All in favor? Oh, wait. Do you have a question, Anita? No, okay. So now, we'll do a voice vote on whether to approve or disapprove. If I can't discern, we will have a roll call vote. All in favor of this petition, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, that moves us to item 16, Buildings and Grounds Committee. Our chair is not here anymore. Who is? Do we have a vice chair of the buildings? Mr. Backlund. He's on. I know he's there.
Resolution number?
9.
Thank you.
How did we get to 9?
Are you ready?
Yep.
Resolution number 2022-9, awarding bids for the 2022 capital project, South Campus Improvements Phase 2, Fair Park Improvements, and the Courthouse Judicial Entry. Executive summary. Jefferson County has continued its efforts to execute its 5-year capital plan to maximize efficiencies and sync competitive bid results. Various capital projects were combined and issued in 4 bid packages: general construction, construction management, HVAC, electrical, and plumbing. Projects at the South Campus include installation of LED lightings for all buildings, replacing the HVAC system at the Workforce Development Building, bathroom renovations at Human Services and Hillside Buildings, transition of storage space to office space at the Workforce Development Building, ceiling replacement at the Human Services Building, and concrete repairs at various locations. Capital projects at the Jefferson County Fair Park are focused on improvements to the activity center and include a new HVAC system, which will provide air conditioning of the entire activity center, improvements to the building to include new doors and windows along with external panels and flatwork repairs. The final component was reconfiguration of the new secured judicial entrance at the courthouse utilizing existing infrastructure. These projects will be funded through a variety of sources to include fund balance, bond proceeds, carryover, American Rescue Act, ARPA, and state tourism grants. The solicitation for bids was issued and published in March of 2022. A total of 10 bids were received for the 4 bid packages and were publicly opened on April 11th, 2022. This resolution authorizes the county administrator to enter into contracts with the following vendors through Moss Brother Construction as the construction manager and Struckwright as the designer. 1. General construction, Moss Brother Construction, $596,900. 2. Construction management, Moss Brothers Construction, $260,344. Heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, HVAC, Zian Mechanical, $566,611. Electrical, Ready $449,554. $449,545. Electrical or plumbing, North American Mechanical, $168,000 even. The Jefferson County Building and Grounds Committee reviewed and approved these bids on April 12th, 2022, and recommended by a vote of 4-0 to forward it to the county board for approval. Fiscal note, the total project costs for this proposal resolution are as follows. Bid 1, general construction, Moss Brothers, again, $596,900. Bid package number 2, HVAC, $566,611. Design. Bid package 3, electrical, $449,545. Ready Electric. Bid package 4 for plumbing, $168,000 to North American Mechanical. Detention door material purchase, $22,075. General construction, $43,718. Supervision, PM and full-time superintendent, $79,000. Construction management fee, 6%, $115,550.94. Construction manager bond, $16,331.20 for a total construction cost of $2,041,399.94. Mr. Chairman, I recommend approval.
Second by Supervisor Lindell. Any discussion? Questions? We need a 2/3 vote for this because it's a budget amendment. Madam Clerk.
Go ahead and vote. Supervisor Richardson. Supervisor Price. Supervisor Milky. Supervisor Degner. Supervisor Gross.
Yes.
Supervisor Smith.
Yes.
Supervisor Martin.
Yes.
Supervisor Turville Heights.
Yes.
Supervisor Callen. Supervisor Gulig. 28 yes, 0 no, 2 absent.
Thank you. And Resolution 2022-10, again, Mr. Backlund.
Resolution number 2022-10, awarding contract to Stanley Security for jail system upgrades and additions. Executive summary. As part of the county's capital budget, upgrades to the existing jail security system were identified. Much of the system is part of the original jail construction in the 1990s. The initial funds were budgeted for fiscal year 2021. However, the work did not proceed because the needs of the jail were being analyzed as part of the larger courthouse, sheriff office, and jail project. As part of the design process, it was determined that not only the system would need to be upgraded, but additions to the system were required for additional cells and interrogation with secure judicial entrance and greater integration of the security system in the courts. The county had budgeted $202,715 towards this project. The county, working with its design and construction management team, sought design estimates and estimated construction costs for a new jail security system through the typical design, bid, build process based on the design development plan. The design cost estimates received ranged from $39,800 to $60,000. The estimated construction cost would be $287,600, or a total estimate project cost of $327,400 to $347,600. Jefferson County also received an updated quote from Stanley Security on March 28, 2022 for an amount of $172,410 for upgrades and additions to the jail system. The Building and Grounds Committee reviewed the revised quote from Stanley Security and the other estimates. based on the cost difference of $154,990 to $175,190 between the two options, the Buildings and Grounds Committee recommended proceeding to contract directly with Stanley Security as a sole source procurement as the most effective cost option. This recommendation was made after conducting a good faith review of the available sources and determining that there is only one source for this procurement. The quotes and estimates were reviewed by the Buildings and Grounds Committee on April 12, 2022, and it was recommended by a 4-0 to contract with Stanley Security and forward to the county board for approval. Fiscal note, this project is budgeted for in an account number 11201.594822 and is funded by budget carryover, which was approved by the County Board of Supervisors on March 8, 2022, in the amount of $202,715. No budget adjustment is necessary. I recommend approval of this resolution.
Do I have a second? Second, Supervisor Morris. Since this is not a budget amendment, we can do this by a simple voice vote. Questions? Discussion on this resolution? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, resolution passes. Resolution number 11, Finance Committee, Supervisor Jones.
Resolution 2022-11, requesting the state of Wisconsin revise the current real estate transfer fee revenue sharing formula. Whereas the collection by counties of a real estate transfer fee was mandated by the state of Wisconsin in 1969, included a requirement that counties remit 50% of all transfer fees collected to the state. And whereas in 1981, the state arbitrarily changed the transfer fee formula to now require counties to remit to the state 80% of all transfer fees collected. And whereas the county, through the Register of Deeds office, assumes the annual operating costs of recording all real estate transfers occurring in Jefferson County, including the collection of real estate transfer fees. And whereas in 2021, Jefferson County collected $1,772,852 in real estate transfer fees, with the county's 20% retaining share totaling $354,570 and required to remit 80% or $1,418,282 to the state. And whereas Jefferson County real estate transfer fee collection over the past 5 years totaled $6,922,419, of which the county retained $1,384,484, and over that same period, $5,537,935 was remitted to the state. And whereas in 2021, the state of Wisconsin has built up a budget surplus of approximately $2.5 billion, while many Wisconsin counties continue to struggle financially due to the ever-increasing cost of providing county government services in an inflationary economy, coupled with the financial restrictions imposed by state-mandated levy limits. And whereas in an effort to financially assist all Wisconsin counties, Jefferson County request that the state of Wisconsin return the real estate transfer fee share formula to again allow Wisconsin counties retain 50% of all total real estate transfer fees collected, with 50% to be remitted to the state. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors in this session on the 19th day of April 2022 that the state of Wisconsin is hereby requested to revise the real estate transfer fee share formula to again allow Wisconsin counties to retain 50% of all real estate transfer fees collected, with 50% to be remitted to the state. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be sent to Governor Tony Evers, all members of the state legislature representing Jefferson County, the Wisconsin County Association, and all other Wisconsin counties. Mr. Chair, I move for passage of this resolution.
Do I have a second? Second, Mr. Christensen. Discussion? Questions? Seeing none? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none? Resolution passes. Takes us to Resolution 2022-12. Human Resources Committee, Mr. Bogler.
Resolution number 2022-12, creating a full-time community health worker position at the Health Department. Significant health and well-being concerns, as well as access to care issues, are facing communities across the United States. Through community health assessments and the community improvement plan and process, specific needs were identified in Jefferson County, as well as action plans to address these needs. The mission is to increase the community's knowledge of healthy lifestyle choices through a variety of educational and physical activities. The goal is to provide information, education, programs, and tools that communities can put in place to help individuals and families enjoy good health now and in the future, including promotion and support of education on the opioid and heroin crisis, community education on mental health and prevention of substance use, community education on nutrition and physical activity, education of youth on healthy coping mechanisms. Community health workers can assist in addressing many of these issues from a community-centered approach. Community health workers are critical to improving individual and community health through their ability to build trust in relationships and deepen communication between patients and providers. Community health workers have a deep understanding of their communities through lived experience, which makes them uniquely qualified to address social and behavioral issues by serving as liaison or links between public health, healthcare, and the community to assist individuals and communities in adopting healthy behaviors, conducting outreach that promotes and improves individual community health, facilitating access to services, decreasing health disparities, and improving the quality and cultural competence of service delivery. The interim health officer, director, health officer, and the county administrator are requested to create one full-time community health workers position at the health department that will be assigned duties currently performed by a public health nurse through the Drug-Free Community Support Program grant and will be 100% funded through the Drug-Free Community Grant through 2023. Thereafter, the position will be budgeted through the Jefferson County Health Department and other available grants with the possibility of an additional 5-year continuation of the Drug-Free Community Support Program grant. The public health nurse position will be reassigned to nursing-specific duties, which will also assist in nursing staffing challenges at the Jefferson County Health Department. This resolution authorizes the creation of one full-time community health worker position at the Jefferson County Health Department. The Human Resources Committee considered this resolution on April 12, 2022, and recommended forwarding it to the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors for approval. Fiscal note: the community health worker position costs a total of $47,722 from salary and fringe benefits for the remainder of 2022 and is fully funded through the Drug-Free Community Support Program grant. The former public health nurse position will currently remain unfilled, therefore no new tax levy is required for this position. This is a budget amendment. The county board requires a 2/3 vote of the entire membership of the county board, 20 of the 30-member vote. I move for passage.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Jaco. Any further discussion, questions? This is a budget amendment, so we'll need a roll call vote.
You can go ahead. Supervisor Richardson? Supervisor Price? Supervisor Milky? Supervisor Digner? Supervisor Gross?
Yes.
Supervisor Smith?
Yes.
Supervisor Merton?
Yes.
Supervisor Turville Heights?
Yes.
Supervisor Paulson?
He had to leave.
Supervisor Callen?
Yes.
Supervisor Gulig? 27 yes, 0 no, 3 absent.
Thank you. Resolution carries. Takes us to item 19, Law Enforcement Emergency Management Committee. Supervisor Morris.
This is not a ordinance or a resolution, it's a proclamation, and so it's considered proclamation number 1. Proclaiming May 18, 2022 as Jefferson County Peace Officers Memorial Day in Jefferson County. Whereas each year, Congress and the President of the United States designate May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which that date falls as National Police Week. And whereas the members of the law enforcement agencies of Jefferson County play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of Jefferson County. And whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of their law enforcement officers, and that members of our law enforcement agencies recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting citizens against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression. And whereas the Jefferson County Board calls upon all citizens of Jefferson County and upon all patriotic, civic, and educational organizations to observe the week of May 15 through 21, 2022, as National Police Week, with appropriate ceremonies and observances, in which all of our people may join in commemorating law enforcement officers past and present, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities have rendered dedicated service to their communities, and in so doing have established for themselves an enviable and enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of all citizens. And whereas the men and women of our law enforcement community unceasingly provide a vital public service, now therefore be it resolved that the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors proclaims May 18, 2022 as Jefferson County Peace Officers Memorial Day, and be it further resolved that all citizens of Jefferson County are asked to observe Wednesday, May 18, 2022 as Jefferson County Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of those law enforcement officers who, through their courageous deeds, have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community or have become disabled in the performance of duty, and that all citizens recognize and pay respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes. Fiscal note, adoption of this proclamation will have no fiscal impact on the county budget. I move to promote this proclamation.
Second, Mr. Nagel. Okay, good. Thank you very much. Discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the proclamation is passed. Item 20, we've already addressed. Item 21, appointment by our county administrator, Mr. Waymeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. By the virtue of authority vested in me under Section 59.18, Parent 2, Parent B of the Wisconsin statutes, the MOU with the City of Oconomowoc, I respectfully request confirmation of the following appointment. Ms. Barbara Elwood Getch of Exonia, Wisconsin, to the Oconomowoc Library Board for the 3-year term ending April 15, 2025. I respectfully request confirmation of this appointment.
Move to confirm. Second.
Discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the appointment is completed. Is there any public comment of a general nature? Seeing none, I have just a couple of quick announcements. Number one, I want to thank you for trusting me to be your chairman again. I've always have an open door. I don't really have an office here, an open telephone line. Feel free to have any discussions with me. I thank you again for your trust, and hopefully we can have a less chaotic term these next 2 years than it was when COVID hit the month of this meeting. So I thank you all. And secondly, I want to put together, because the zoning needs to meet Thursday night, I want at least at this point make a temporary appointment. So I'd like the previous zoning committee, the 4 that remain, to be there for that public hearing, since they have already done the site inspections. And then I would ask Supervisor Winnicky to sit in as our 5th. Would you be able to do that Thursday night at 7? Here, right in this room. Thank you very much. And another temporary appointment until we get everything organized is for Supervisor Kennard for Home Consortium. He is at this point the acting chair of that committee, correct? And so he will be appointed for that at this point.
Is on it.
Russ, too.
Pardon?
Russ.
Oh, and Mr. Coots too. Absolutely. So did they meet tomorrow or Thursday? Thursday. Okay, and then you should have on your desk a survey. You'd see Mr. Morris holding it up there. Please fill that out for us. I also would ask all of you that had difficulty with your tablets tonight, hopefully we get that fixed by the next meeting. So see our IT people.
We need to sign our.
And yes, we need to sign our oath of office. And you should turn those into the clerk here. Please turn those into our county clerk, Audrey, up here in front. Anything else? Any other announcements? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. I know people need to get to their town meetings. They've
So
asked-
moved.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you again. Nick?
Cake.
Oh, by the way, there's cake over here. I'm sure you all came for the cake too. Yeah. I think so too. Yeah. They asked me to be at my town meeting tonight. I normally, but 7. It's just a town annual meeting, but they're asking to increase the budget of the road thing, and they want to be there because people will listen.